All right, welcome back to Bayou Time. We're now going to go to some general information and open up the phone lines for a little bit before Stan Gravois takes over. And he'll have a couple of guests coming on, Yolanda Trahan, Suzanne Carlos. We're going to have our cooking segment each and every week from Canadas. And also we'll have Jan Bruce, Julie Bruce, and Braden Alamo talk about a poker run for a very, very good cause. Right now we have Sergeant Kyle Faulk on from the Houma Police Department, who has some information for us on some important traffic information. So, Kyle, welcome aboard again, and what do you have for us, sir?
Thanks for having me on, Martin. I just want to relay some information from my traffic division. Right now, temporarily, the Houma Navigational Bridge, of course, is out due to high water, so it's not out for repair purposes, but as soon as the high water has receded, they will resume traffic flow, vehicular traffic, but it's causing extra load of congestion on the Houma Tunnel, and we're receiving an increased volume of calls to the dispatch at our agency regarding people seeing water leaking in the tunnel. And we just want to remind everybody and put them on notice that the tunnel is not leaking. A structural damage, that the tunnel is actually leaking through a piece of conduit pipe. DOTD has been notified about the situation. I was told earlier they couldn't on it at that time because of the navigational bridge, which I learned that was incorrect. They do have a crew being alerted about this situation. There's no need for alarm. The tunnel has pumps to pump out the water that is falling down the wall, and it's not much, but it's causing also a traffic jam when people are driving through, of course, and they're noticing it, and it's kind of some concern to the citizens. So we just wanted the citizens to be aware that the tunnel is safe to pass through. There's no cause of concern. However, if you do work on the east side of town, we're asking that you leave a little bit earlier for work to try to alleviate some of the traffic congestion, because we are seeing an increase in traffic accidents as well.
All right, we appreciate that, Sergeant Falk. We also appreciate you spending a lot of time on with us during the tropical event. It was invaluable, so thank you for that information. So nobody has to worry that the tunnel's going to implode on them or anything.
No, it's just a small leak. Matter of fact, we had touched on it during the tropical storm. DOTD is on the problem. It should be fixed fairly soon, and hopefully the high water will go down and we'll get that navigational bridge open and traffic can resume as normal.
Well, we all know in general the tunnel is underwater every day, right?
That is correct. That is correct. I think the only one that doesn't know it is Mr. Wade.
Yeah, we had to have a little fun at the end of this conversation. All right.
That's right.
Thank you.
All right, Martin. Well, thanks a bunch for getting that out there, and y'all stay safe.
All right. Take care. All right. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to go to the phone lines, take some general calls, and let us know what's on your mind. Jay, how long do I have? About 13 minutes to take phone call? All right, here we go. HTV, welcome to the program. You're on. Go ahead, please.
Oh, yes, sir. I live in Lockport, and I noticed something the last few years, and it's gotten worse and worse. Yeah. At all our shopping centers, we have signs that are put up by the businesses that people that are crippled or handicapped have places where they can be closer to the doors.
Right.
And I've noticed that all those slots are mostly taken up with non-handicapped cars. No license plate, no tag on the back window or the front rear view mirror, nothing laying on the seat indicating a handicap. And yesterday, or day before yesterday, at Walmart in Matthews, I spoke to the manager because a young guy, or I should say 50-something guy, kind of tall, gray-haired, pants, T-shirt, parked his gray F-150 Ford pickup at the first slot closest to the door, and I went to tell the manager. And she seemed like nobody had ever brought that up to her before. But I know in years past, if you parked in those slots when a deputy drove through, he stopped and gave him a ticket.
Yep.
And that doesn't happen anymore, because for the last 2 months I've been paying attention, and the deputies do pass in that parking lot in Matthews. And one strolled by one day, passed right in that area, right even behind those cars, and he never stopped and got out and looked at the license plate or to see if they had a tag. And 3 of the 4 spots available for crippled or handicapped people or the elderly, the those cars didn't have that. And so I stayed, and it was 2 young women and a young guy that had parked in those spots. And I think that Sheriff Coyle Weber should get together with his captains and his second lieutenants and his sergeants and say, hey, look, we got to start enforcing this.
Yeah, we had a large problem with that in Terrebonne at one time, and I recall something taking place where I think some of the stores are on private property, and they said they would sort of be under the jurisdiction of enforcing it themselves, but they don't. I agree with you. You can watch all day long. People come in, hop out of their cars, no handicap plates, and it goes on and on and on.
Because that same day I helped one lady that was with a cane that had like 3 points on the bottom. It was aluminum.
Right. And
she lived by herself. She told me her husband had died, and she had a basket full, and she had to go about 20 yards further. And the 4 of the 3 slots were taken by 3 cars with no tags. That was the time I was telling you about earlier.
Yep.
With 2 young girls and a young guy. So that's like 40 yards round trip that she's got to make walking very slow with a basket.
Well, that's just no compassion, period, for people.
Yeah, but when
park.
there's no compassion, you got to put the stick to them.
I hear you. I hear you loud and clear. You're preaching to the choir here, because I'm right there with you.
So
all right.
I'm wondering if this incident that you told me about before, them saying it was private property, why can't the Lafourche Parish Council, the businesses, and the sheriff's office get together and make some kind of amendment where they can start writing tickets in that area? Because once you write the tickets for about a month, you're not going to see it anymore. Word's going to get around, and it's going to hit their pocketbook.
Well, let me. I made a little note of it. Let me check on it, because I'm not sure what the law is at this point. I know that that was an issue brought up, but I'm not sure what the law is. But I'm going to revisit that for you.
I mean, it's a long ways before I'm going to need a wheelchair or a cane or something, or a crutch. But someday it's coming to all of us if we live that long.
Well, at least you're looking out for the ones that need it, so we'll check into it for you.
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to call you back in a week or 2 and ask you what you found out.
Absolutely. I'm going to have it. I'm going to let Jason print up the law on the screen where everybody can see it.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, we do have to take a break. Coming right back to the phone lines. Don't go away.